morning, students. Today we will be learning file handling concept in C programming. I am Dr. Sangram. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel to get the new updated videos on different programming languages. Now basically file handling concept is used when we want to store our data permanently. If I have written a C programming which takes some data, we process something on that data and we display the result. So if we execute the program, we have to input the data. Our program does the processing and it displays the result. Second time, when we are executing the program, at that time, if we want the data inputted in previous execution, then it is not possible to get that data because all data gets stored into the RAM, that is random access memory, which is a volatile memory. So till you are in execution mode, your compiler maintains the data, and when you stop the execution, compiler deletes that data, whatever data we have inputted. So it is not possible to get the data next time when we execute the program. So if we want to maintain the data which is inputted from the keyboard, in that case we have to go with a file handling concept. So in a file handling concept, in a file handling, we can perform three operations: read information, write information, or append information. Read information in the sense whatever data we have into the file, that data we are reading it. Write data, we are storing the data from a starting position. It starts overwriting previous data, and in append mode it keeps your previous data as it is, and then it stores the data at the end of the file. Means after completion of a previous data, it starts storing new data. So write and append is same, it is used to store the data, but the only difference is write starts overwriting the previous data if it is exist, and append it keeps previous data as it is, new data it starts adding after the previous data. Okay, so these are the three operations which we can perform. First of all, we will check the read operation. So to read operation, first of all we have to mention that I want to perform read operation into the file. Whatever data we want to store into the file or we want to read from a file, directly handling file into C programming is not possible. So we have to create one file pointer variable, and this file pointer variable we have to connect to our actual file. No doubt we have to declare that variable, file pointer variable, that I will show directly afterwards, or next slides it is having that. So first of all, the file in which our data is present, that file we have to connect to our file pointer variable, because directly accessing data from a file in C programming is not possible. So we connect this actual file with the variable. Whenever we want to read a data, that data we have to read from a file, that is from a file pointer variable. Indirectly it reads from a file. So to connect our file with this variable, we use fopen. Then we mention the file name from which file we want to read the data, and then we have to mention R just to indicate file mode. R we use for write mode, W we for R we use for a read mode, W we use for a write mode, and A we use for a append mode. Now generally, to read a data from a keyboard, we take help of a scanf statement. But now when we want to read a data from a file, then we have to use fscanf statement. That this indicates read data from file. From which file? That is the file which is connected to our pointer variable. Then just like a normal scanf statement, we have to mention a data type, which type of a data we want, and then in which variable we want to read a data. Okay, it is just like a scanf statement. The only thing is we have to mention a fscanf and a pointer variable. Rest part is same, data type and a variable. Similarly, whenever we want to write a data into the file, first of all we have to open file into the write mode. So it is the same file pointer variable equal to fopen, in which file we want to write, and then we have to mention the write mode, that we want to write the data into the file. Now whenever you want to write data into the file, you write into the pointer variable. It automatically gets written into the file. Similarly for append, the only difference is we mention a. Now if you consider read operation, write operation and append operation, okay, the main part which we have to consider is whenever we are using read mode, the file which we have mentioned, that file must exist. If it is not there, it will generate error. Compiler will generate error. This doesn't happen with write or append. The file which we have mentioned, if that file, if it is not exist, then compiler creates that file and open into write or append mode. It won't generate any error. So this is the difference between read and write or append operation. In read operation, the file or the source from which we want to read a data, that source must exist. Otherwise, compiler will generate error. And for write and append, the source in which we want to write a data, that is the file in which we want to write a data, if it is exist, no problem, it will start working. But if it doesn't exist, then it creates that file and it starts storing the data. Okay. To write a data or to append a data, we use fprintf. Then in which file we want to write, that is a file which is connected to pointer variable, then which type of data we want to write, and a variable. This is just like a printf statement. The only thing is we have to use fprintf and pointer variable. Next part is same, data type and a variable. Okay. Now to declare a pointer variable, we use file star fp. To declare a pointer variable, we use file star fp. Okay. Then to open a file, we use fp equal to fopen file name mode. For example, if we want to store a data into the file whose name is number.dat, then that file we can attach to our fp pointer variable with the help of fopen number.dat, and then we have to mention the mode. That is, if we want to write a data, we mention W. If we want to read a data, then we mention R. And if we want to append the data, we mention W.